Hello, Leo. This is like your November forecast. So I'm shuffling the cards. Let's kind of like review a little bit of astrological aspects this month. So I think in October, basically, that was like a little bit of drifting into kind of like deeply nostalgic territory. Maybe you had some kind of like family related matters, and that's kind of like going to be a little bit of continuation, that the family and home will continue to kind of like pull that attention and focus in November as well. Except you're going to now start realizing that those golden memories from last month were just kind of like a little kind of like different flavor. They were like maybe shining brightly for a reason, because they kind of like held certain lessons, and those lessons are actually really learned. This is like overall kind of like a reading message that I'm getting, that we are shifting to a next plane. Like there's like something really big happening. So for you, recalling these past mistakes and dreams will kind of like really inform upcoming decisions, while you're going to also be remembering times of peace, and that's going to be helping you to kind of like really maybe resolve certain things, especially if you have relatives fighting. Maybe you're going to be that warmth that kind of like is needed in the situation, right? Also, guys, we have finally, ta-da, celebration. We are out of Mercury retrograde. It's on the 4th. We are moving forward, and then Mercury stays in Libra until the 10th, when it moves into Scorpio. So before 10th, it's going to be a lots of kind of like talks about equality and justice, and things need to be adjusted. When it comes in November 10th, that kind of like category becomes talking about secrets, talking about deception, talking about exposing some kind of like global conspiracies, or starting some kind of global conversation, and you're going to be really on the forefront of that. So it's kind of like showing to be really the leader that you need to be, right? So you're going to really this month deal with judgment. Is going to be really the key, and one of these really good days in this month is November 15th, when we have this like new moon in Scorpio, and it's going to be more or less all of nothing. You're going to put like every little iota of effort into your new goals. You're going to be willing to walk through the thorns, as they say, as per Astra, from the thorns to the stars, and you're going to be really dedicated to your new dreams, right? So kind of like do this ritual for this new moon. Also, Venus is going to be moving in Sagittarius on the 21st, the same day when Sun moves into Sagittarius. It's beginning with Sagittarius on the 21st, and it's going to feel like expansion. It's going to be some kind of like excitement. It's going to be a really good fit for you, right? So the 30th is that lunar eclipse that I told you, and it's really important, because it's going to be a time that you might finally connect the dots on something that maybe has been hidden or secretive, or even unexpected, is going to be revealed to you. So that's a major tower moment kind of a thing. So on the bottom of the deck, you have the Chariot. Chariot is like about this goal. So that's what I was telling you, around the 15th. It's for you, it's going to be between the 10th and 15th. It's going to be feeling that something is brewing. It's almost like you're not comfortable where you are, even though you are comfortable where you are, but you will feel like, no, I need to kind of like jump higher. I need to be better. It's going to be a really big change of attitude. You're going to feel extremely energized. So it's going to be a lots of new different directions. Then you have a Page of Pentacles over here, and look at him. It's kind of weird, because we had another page over here, and he was like kind of like going on his path, and this dude is going on his path. So it could be maybe some traveling ideas, whether virtual or real. Maybe simply it's going to be just like kind of like walks in the nature in spite of the weather, I would say. This dude here comes with a map, so there is like this focus. I guess maybe for you, you guys will even focus in how to go and where to go. As you can see, I can see like two different places that kind of like have the paths going there. So, but I don't really think he's going to the either place. I really think he's going into something unknown. Page of Pentacles is also a card that really highlights studying and highlights new knowledge. knowledge and highlights, kind of like really nose to the grindstone, and really kind of like trying to kind of like go in depth of the knowledge, not sort of like knowing superficially quite a bit of the small things about many things, but knowing like one thing or two things really, really well. And this is coupled with the Emperor. So ta-da, guys, maybe Aries, maybe Cancer is really showing up in your life, maybe an earth sign. But the Emperor is also talking about the overall sense of stability, the overall sense of being in control, being in charge. You're feeling kind of like that something is really kind of like falling in place. So especially at work, I would say you're going to feel that you're on the horseback again, that things are actually really working well for you. Maybe you're recognized, maybe you're promoted here as well. It can be also some kind of like possibly business trouble, in spite of like everything that is going through, that can be involved, or could be plans for something. For you, it could be even studying in a foreign country, of that sort of things. You also might meet a foreigner that actually can be a really important in your life. Then you have a Two of Wands, and this is like what I'm telling you, something is brewing. You kind of like really feel what kind of life I really want to build here. Look, like, I mean, everything is happening, the energy, and we see the stars, and stars are always talking about hopefulness, and wands are really talking about the energy and enthusiasm. He's not necessarily still jumping in the action, but he's just about to, because he's just like figuring out how to get there. So it almost looks like to me all roads are leading to Rome, wherever Rome is for you. So what is like that thing that you really wish the most? In which direction you plan to be there? You really need to ask yourself where you were last year at this time. What were your aspirations? Nobody had aspirations. I'm just going to sit at home and do nothing because pandemic is doing that to me. And in fact, we feel very restless now in the situation, like 7, 8, 9 months down into it. And this is like for you saying, okay, you know what, I really have to go back on track, and maybe, you know, there is like this constraint right now. I really want to get out of it, and it's going to happen. Yeah, I think what you're bringing also from October, as I mentioned, like you felt this kind of like, maybe there was like disconnection with the family, or maybe like, I mean, you were disconnecting with people who used to be very, very close in your life. Maybe it is a time to get new friends. Maybe it's a time to get new experiences, because that's what this would mean. Or maybe somebody just showed up not to be really as good of a friend as you initially thought they would be. There is a Tower. I was telling you astrologically, you have the Tower. You have Tower in tarot. So Tower is, what do you want, a bad news or a good news first? Let's go with the bad news. It's shock. And there will be 2 shocks, November 10th, between November 10th and November 13th. And then again, November 30th, right? So Tower really, really shakes us up. Tower tells us, well, you really thought that's the way to do things? Well, I don't think so. It's going to be my way. It is like something that we keep pushing, and we keep pushing, and like we are really stubborn about it. Tower is that Aries energy, and keep in mind that Mars is also retrograde, and Mars retrograde ends on November 13th. And when this happens, and this is like the Tower energy over here that is really happening, you're going to feel energy will happen. This is almost like, just, it's a bad example, but you're going to get what I mean. Like you are on a Titanic and the ship is sinking, but you did manage to escape in one of those boats, and like you are already kind of losing it, but you know, it's just like you're hearing the sirens somewhere from the dark, and you're saying to yourself, okay, now it's not the time to give up. Now I have to get this energy, and that energy moves into more energy, kind of like almost like energy begets energy kind of a thing. So the Tower, like, this is a good news about the Tower, because you kind of like realize, okay, so these two things don't go together. I don't go with this person, or this is not a good direction, or I have been looking for love in all the wrong places, or, you know, I have been choosing wrong partners, but this is what they have in common, so I have to make sure that could be the red flag for me, because I kind of like get suckered into that, right? The Tower always clearly redefines our life, because it can be a stressful event. You know how they say that we build our character on stressful events. So you're going to have 2 opportunities this month. And then you have like Two of Swords. So this is a second two. It can be a little bit of indecision. Maybe it's going to be shut in the dark. Maybe you have to make a quick decision. It's one of those situations when you make a decision, you're always not sure if you made the right one, and always feel like, I mean, the other one was better. Because look at her. She's blindfolded. She's like throwing freaking knives. So it can go wrong. She has pets around, right? So this is like really one of those things, but she did manage to get into the center. So in my language, we have this proverb that even a blind chicken finds the grain, meaning eventually you're going to get there. So for you, it's going to be something that you're going to, like, I mean, get into it almost like cluelessly, and you'll have to deal with that situation. Your own house is the moon. You're going to be very intuitive, and even though there's going to be exaggeration of things, as you can see, the little kitty thinks it's a cougar, right? You're still going to be in control, and maybe this is going to be that highlighted feeling on everything. Everything will be bigger than it is, right? The drama is going to be bigger, but love is going to be bigger, right? Kind of like how you are being seen by the other people is going to be bigger. Everything is going to be bigger and better. So no wonder this is like a time of buying Christmas presents. Are going to be probably, I'm expecting big boxes being packaged with the big balls of anything else. The moon is also the time that can actually provoke some kind of jealousy, and it can hinder us to, and that's why kind of like I can see this kind of like connecting, that it can sometimes hinder us from moving forward in a positive way. So let's see, how is the environment going to affect you? You have a Knight of Pentacles. So you have somebody around you. Look at this, like both of them are flying this broom over here. You're going to have, let's say, a partner in crime. Let's put it that way. Somebody who is really friendly, somebody who is lingering around you, somebody who you don't see necessarily as a partner, but they might be a partner, except they might move really, really slow, and you are not a slow moving sign. And that's maybe why the tarot kicks in and says, well, just wait. You have to wait and bide your time. Everything happens in divine timing. And maybe, you know, like, I mean, this intuition is telling, it's kind of weird. You'll be fighting between intuitive and this kind of like cold, organizing kind of like attitudes. And that's where it's going. That's why you have all these twos, because it kind of like is confusing. So your hopes and fears is Queen of Cups. You want to be able to give your heart out. You also might be afraid that somebody there is, who is there to give me their heart, right? Queen of Cups is falling in your categories, your hopes and fears. So I'm reading this both. So as much as you're willing to kind of like find, like, I mean, your big lion's heart, this like new person, which could be this knight who showed up. It could be this emperor. So Aries, earth sign, or maybe even this Cancer. You also have Pisces. Like, you have lots of water. I really have to give you this. Water, 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 right? And then enough fire to make this water sizzle and create steam. And steam is like what we need when it comes to relationship. Queen of Cups is also kind of like understanding, an emotional soft place to fall, where we feel comfortable emotionally. Sometimes when we feel too comfortable emotionally, we end up being in somebody's friend zone, or they end up being in our friend zone. So it's kind of like going to be one of those things that maybe you're going to just try something odd and it's going to really work out, right? But at the same time, you're feeling a little bit of hesitation and fear of possibly being hurt, or things not really working out, especially, holy moly, you'll have Tower twice in a month. And then the Hangman. Actually, I am learning to love this card, as much as like it's really weird, it's like not active card, but there's like somebody who relinquished entire power. You see, it's kind of like a step back. It's kind of energy of the 3, or this is the energy of 4, yet this is a higher energy than the Emperor, because this is one of the gods cards. And so he showed up to the spot and he said, okay, I think I know everything, but clearly I need to find a way of you people who are living in this 3 dimension, who are very ego oriented. So in order for me to retain and be back into the god kind of like characteristics, I don't want to be that kind of like domineering god. I really want to see the way of life. So this is kind of done willfully. This is kind of like saying, let me just see. Let me just do everything you want to do. I'm just going to observe. So this is completely understanding somebody else's perspective, where they are coming from. And this is also without judgment. It's just observing. So it's going to be pretty good, because these two cards together create this like yin and yang. They are gelling, they're gluing together. This is the missing part. So it's not either one of them can function, but you're missing, like you're missing this big part of you. It's just like you can function without an arm, but having two of them, you can do so much more. So Leo, it's going to be a lots of kind of like things that will happen this month, which I believe it's done in order to A, energize you, and B, to set you on a new path. And path is going to be really interesting, because you're still in some kind of situation that almost like, because I did grab one more, like one more card, but instead of one card, like two cards came through. Release your ex. This is connecting to the full moon. This is November 30th, and also deception. But in the deception card, it says someone is wearing a false self mask. Both of them are wearing a mask. So you have to figure out, what masks are you wearing? What is that you say to other people, right? That's the moon here. Because you're really convinced that you're doing nothing wrong. And I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying that somehow how you come across is not the way you hope to come across, and vice versa. So that's going to be the riddle this month. Who is who, how to get there, but your focus is going to be so there, and allow people to enter your life. Because it's going to be a couple of options. Some of them will feel a little bit weird. I will have to say this Chariot is going to be somebody who is a little bit self-obsessed. The Moon, you know, person is going to be very romantic but impractical. The Tower is going to be somebody maybe just like too energetic for you. And this guy could be like, hey, you know, you can be friends, but that's all there is. So you're not going to feel right with any of them, right? But ultimately, and the Emperor is going to feel, ooh, this is like, I mean, the person who kind of like has their act together. And maybe like this is where you will kind of like try to really reconnect with yourself. What are your real attitudes and what are your real directions? So guys, take the mask off, but also demand that the other person takes their mask off. So you kind of like deal with a kind of like transparent situation. Your card is the Sun. Don't forget that. So this is for November, guys, and let's not forget, if you guys want my daily daily dose of tarot, join my Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at Catch Tarot. Lastly, I am not doing annual Taroscopes, which used to be paid feature. This year, I'm just going to do general introduction for 2021, and it's going to be done only to the people who are subscriber of the channel and to people who are subscriber of my mailing list. So subscribe to my channel and then go on catchtarot.ca. And either scroll on the bottom where it's going to say join my mailing list, or wait for a pop-up and just join it there. No worries if you are afraid of being spammed, because I'm just simply too lazy to spam people. So you probably will get once a month information about the Taroscopes when they are being released, and also you're going to get that special link for 2021. So just jump there. And also all my old subscribers, old subscribers and all clients will be able to get their personal annual forecast, but unfortunately this is not going to be open to the new people. You can become a client over 2021, and by the end of the year you can do it. The reason being for that, I get too many and they're extremely draining. It's almost like it is only an hour and a half, but I kind of like put so much energy. It's like literally absorbing the energy of 12 months and processing them within an hour and a half, and it's really tough on me. So I really have to limit how much energy I really can give out. So this is it for this month. I really wish you all the best. I really hope, you know, you're kind of like finding this kind of like grains and everything else, but they also, you deal with all these emotions at the surface, because that's going to be really important. And just go with the flow. That's what the Hangman says. So until the next month, you know that I love you. I wish you all the best.